Green. It is Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. Good morning. Let's get our heads right here on this fabulous day. And man, oh gosh, I did not want to wake up this morning. I don't know what was going on. I had my alarm set, and I normally set my alarm about an hour and 20 minutes before the program because it gives me time to get up, go use the restroom, and I'm kind of, I guess, I kind of get up a little when I get up early in the morning. I'm slow at moving, so by the time I come out here, turn on my computer, get the last few things I need to get done in preparation for the show, and then being able to, get my drink and start the program, it's right up. But I kept on hitting that snooze alarm. And I was just like, oh God, I do not want to get up. I do not want to do anything. Um, and I feel like this morning, and I'll explain why here in a moment, but this has been more of the reason why I had to get up. I could have postponed the show back. I could have, canceled the show. Sometimes if I'm having a, crappy morning, which you get a lot of those days, then it's like just cancel the show, not do the show. Well, I was like, all right, I'll explain more here in this opening segment. But man, last night a lot of stuff going down, and what about them Cowboys? Cowboys beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31-14. Man, wow. When you're thinking about it, it's like, out of the last 16 years, you'd ever really thought of playing or voting against or, betting odds against Tom Brady. I mean, that was just unbelievable. I didn't watch the entire game because I was actually doing an interview on the Armchair Bookings Wrestling podcast, which is now available at Armchair Booking Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Also, you can check out the audio versions on all audio platforms, the same audio platforms that you can listen to the throw-in weekdays. So Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, and there's a lot more. And so we got a chance to sit down and have that conversation last night during Monday Night Raw and Monday Night Football. And so I didn't get a chance to catch a good amount of either program because it took us up until about, I don't know, I say about 10 p.m. So, but like as soon as I get logged off of the being a guest, which I love Steve Barber, love Dwayne Davis, love what they're doing, and I love I've been on before, been on plenty of times, and I just really enjoy the chemistry those two men have among each other. So so I didn't get a chance to really tune in, but I tuned in to Monday Night Football right afterwards, and then I immediately saw heading into the third quarter. I'm like, hold on, this doesn't sound right. It's 24-0 Cowboys. And I'm like, okay, is something going wrong? Because even on Tom Brady's worst day, him going scoreless in the first half just does not seem ideal or rational. But yeah, that's that was the case, and you really saw the difference. The reason why you never vote against Tom Brady is because he could have a shitty season. And given this year was not the greatest year for the Buccaneers, it's not only just Tom Brady, but it's for the rest of the team. I mean, it's not just one person relying on to carry the entire team. And what we saw last night, what we saw, I think in reflection of this season was that even the greats, as we consider Tom Brady the GOAT, still has its flaws, still has his troubles as he needs, and still depends a lot on his team. Yeah, you could put the greats up in the two, the greats aren't defined throughout the entire game. The greats are defined in selective moments of the game that they are able to overcome. We're talking about 2-minute warnings. When you're down by a touchdown and you need to drive 98 yards and get 8 points to win the game. We're talking about when the stadium is loud, so loud that you have to go to hand signals and silent snap counts and being able to remain calm under the pressure that you're in. The greats are not just about the numbers. The greats are about how you handle yourself in those positions. I mean, one of the greatest, I think, memories that you can reflect back on. You talk about greatness of football and the players. It's the story that lives on for eternity about Joe Montana. Okay, they were down by a touchdown, and he needed to run 98 yards to score against the Bengals. And one of the most historical drives in NFL history today, and all you hear was about how Montana gets into the huddle, and he's like, "Is that John Candy up in the stands?" I mean, those definitions reflect who you are. And so it's not just about, so I don't know how much, and like I said, I didn't really tune in. The Cowboys were up 24-0, and the next it's 31-0 in the third quarter. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna tune this off, maybe head over to Raw because Raw's about to end, and then maybe check back in at the very end. you know so Cowboys go on to win 31-14. Buccaneers try to make, okay. I mean, I do know that the Buccaneers try to make some sort of comeback. They had like literally one timeout. And after they, at the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter, and they recovered, the onside kick. And so, I mean, for me, that's kind of how that's how I kind of viewed the game. I'll learn more about it, talk probably a little bit more about it. But all right, so now we have the divisional weekend set up, and that's the Cowboys going over to San Francisco. And the way that the Cowboys played back last night, I think sets an urgency because I mean these two teams met each other in the wild card weekend last year in Dallas in this last meeting, and San Francisco had one up on them. Well, I'll tell you this is that, either team, whether it was the Cowboys or the Buccaneers, needed to be concerned about the San Francisco 49ers. They seem like they have the entire package, minus just a quarterback that, Callahan is making a name out of, Mr. Irrelevant here. But to see the Cowboys have the sense of urgency as if they're coming into the game as if they have something to prove. Yeah, they had themselves the upper advantage of being, favorite in that game. And yeah, when you look at the matchup and you look how both teams played overall, both teams, Cowboys are kind of just a little bit up there. But yet again, it's still hard to vote against, one of the greatest of all time. You still have to you still have to come away with the victory. And the Cowboys showed a lot of dominance, a lot of energy. I really enjoyed it. And I think, with this, this momentum going into now the divisionals, weekend, it's the Cowboys and the 49ers are going to be set up to be a really, really good game in the NFC. I'm actually, I'm liking every game so far. We'll talk more a little bit about that. But last night, Monday Night Raw, man, I did not get a chance to catch a whole lot of it. Like I said, I was doing the interview at Armchair Booking Wrestling Podcast last night. Took me until about 10 o'clock. Tuned into uh, football for a bit, and then tuned over to Raw. But I was as I was tuning in, you saw the elimination match. Um, what I say was the Biz, Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, I believe, maybe one other. And the winner was going to face Austin Theory next week at the Monday Night Raw's 30-year anniversary for the United States Championship. We're on the road to the Royal Rumble, and I understand there's a lot of probably matches that could have been a good booking for the Royal Rumble, but you got to remember WWE needs to have 30 men and 30 women to maintain to enter the Rumble. And so a lot of these matches you're going to see prior to the Rumble, because the last thing that you really don't want to do is to have all your matches at the Rumble and then those guys re-enter themselves in as an injury. You'll see one or two of them, but to see each and every one of them is a little bit different. But something that was kind of stirring up last week has been promoted is that Monday Night Raw celebrates its 30-year anniversary next week, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, I feel pretty old. You think about it. Okay, so I'm gonna be 28 this year, and you have 30 years of WrestleMania. So I was born 1995. I'll be 28 this year. That means 1993 was the first Raw. And I'm like, I'm not that much older, or I'm that much younger to watch, than how old Monday Night Raw is. So Raw 30 years is supposed to be celebrated. We have a large, we already have a lot of matches set up. You have Bobby Lashley, who came away in an interesting finish that we may or may not get into later on in our program. Becky Lynch and Bayley will take face off. I believe they will be inside a steel cage match, which will actually be pretty entertaining. I mean, these Becky Lynch, Bayley, if you guys have been living underneath the rock for the last 10 years, you know their feud, you know their history, their friendship. And then you also had the Usos taking on Judgment Day's Dominic and Damian Priest. So, and then for the first time, wow, big yawn. For the first time, you see, it's kind of not awkward, but it's kind of like, all right, well, the Undertaker, you see these guest appearances, and there's people like the Bella Twins and, um, you know, Road Dogg and Ron Simmons and Teddy Long, Jerry Lawler, Ric Flair, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, and you see the Undertaker on it. And I'm like, for the longest time, I've never, you've always seen the Undertaker just be a hidden figure, and he's actually being promoted. That he's going to be there next Monday, and you know what? We'll, as we get to, um, closer to next week, we'll kind of address that a little bit more. But breaking news coming out of Monday Night Raw last night, pretty, something that I think we could have kind of speculated. We thought that maybe this was going to happen the first week of Monday Night Raw when Seth Rollins and Austin Theory had their United States Championship match. But, sometimes you just, listen, don't rush anything. And sometimes let it come to you. And by allowing it to, wait and take the process of allowing it to come to us, we are now treated with Cody Rhodes returning at the Royal Rumble. Yeah. Big, that's a big news. I mean, even if you were speculating the news or not, it's big enough because, listen, this is a guy who, we saw the injury. We saw the pectoral muscle being torn, and the, swollen. the bicep being completely black and blue. So we saw a lot of that firsthand, and we felt the pain that Cody Rhodes ran into. And he's kind of taken us on the journey, and a lot of this journey is to, honestly, in my opinion, I've seen, because it's kind of leading up to WrestleMania. Whatever the case is for WrestleMania, whatever the story is, the storylines are for WrestleMania, in 2 weeks, we will finally start getting a clear understanding, all right, a little bit, as we start building WrestleMania matches. I was talking after with Dwayne and Steve last night about this, and I was like, hey, last year, that's maybe last year, maybe last few years, it's understandable how this time, January 17th, 2023, we sit here and we don't have matches or an idea of what WrestleMania is going to look like. This year, especially since the last 6 months, 7 months has been ran by Triple H, we've speculated, okay, things like Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. But until the Royal Rumble, we really don't have any other speculations of what could or couldn't possibly be. There's rumors out there, and those are rumors such as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn teaming up to take on the Usos for tag team titles. But until we see that unravel, until we see that unfold, there's a different, I think it hits a little different. It makes you a little worried. I mean, yeah, a lot of people bought out, but you got to remember, WrestleMania is a 2 night, event. So you got to start building your match card somewhere. And I did see a little bit of that last night, and I don't know. I'm assuming if it's still going to take, a course of WrestleMania, I could see it being the road to WrestleMania. But then at the same time, some of those courses are kind of repeats. So we'll see what we get into this morning. But coming up next, and we'll have two versions of this, is I was working on a project. I was actually approached by a good friend of mine, Terry Chappell II, a couple weeks ago, and he was like, man, hey, listen, I know you have a show going, you do a weekly program. He kind of was looking into it, and he was like, listen, I have an upcoming play. I like to promote my play through a platform, and I would like to use you as the platform. And this play is going to be, it's a theater play. I would like to, get my cast members, crews, get on the show and do an interview and talk to you guys, and just have a good time, and give these cast members, the start, the knowledge and the availability to promote themselves. He was also trying to promote the play that's coming up this weekend, and I'm like, yeah, sure, so send them my way. And this past weekend, he's been, we kind of conducted several interviews, and now I get a chance to bring them back into the show, into my live episodes. So throughout this week, I have enough interviews to do 2 interviews an hour, and they're about, interview time lengths, 20-30 minutes long. And it's about the upcoming play, Love's Not Enough. That's going to be held at the Community Arts Center in Fairfield, Ohio, this weekend, January 20th through the 22nd. And so I kind of put together this product. I have a pre-dialogue content before the interview, and then the interview. So I'm very excited to see how this turns out. This is actually the first time uploading a large video and allowing it to play. Especially with this morning and the slow start to the internet working. Um, Listen. So hopefully there's no lags or anything like that that will prevent it from playing. So that's going to be coming up next after the break. Do also want to just give a quick shout out, thank you to StreamYard Studios, who provides all of this. If it wasn't for StreamYard, we wouldn't have this channel where you can create your podcasts, videos, host virtual business meetings, and conduct interviews. As you see me take advantage of all of this, you guys could check out their free version today at StreamYard.com for more information, all that good stuff. So if you guys are listening to us watching us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, we thank you. We welcome. Welcome in. Leave a chat down below. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. Like always. Also, if you guys, I just got all the episodes up yesterday morning. Very busy trying to edit videos and get episodes up on our audio platforms, and that is presented by Spreaker, just like this episode here. And so, if you are looking for, if you're also looking for a place to promote your podcast videos, you want to get it up on audio platforms, Spreaker is a great way to go. You guys could have it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, all that stuff. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you'll get that out. Also, like once again, give a thanks to Armchair Booking Wrestling Podcast last night for having me on their show. They were just posted this morning, if not late last night. Why are we fans? So I think we had a good conversation about that. All right, we're gonna step away, play one of those interviews, come back a little bit later on, talk about the divisional series and Monday Night Raw. You guys are listening to the Throw-In here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. What's going on, everyone? Justin here from the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. I'm going to take this time and from play that is presented by Elightened Studios, written and directed by Terry Chappell. And that's called Love's Not Enough. That will be featuring beginning this Friday at Fairfield Community Arts Center, 411 Wessel Drive, Fairfield, Ohio, and that is area code 45014. Love's Not Enough is assembled with a cast of seasoned actors who will tell the story about the struggles of three besties, Rachel, Courtney, and Carla, and their spouses. Together they endure the conflicts of life and its dose of reality. These couples truly believe that love alone will sustain them through the difficult times in their marriage. They slowly learn through their own stubbornness that it will take more than words and feelings to keep their marriage alive. This performance is 100% true, except for the parts that are created for a little sense of humor and drama. Love's Not Enough shines a light on difficult subjects such as the not so shameful topic of male infertility, the struggles of NWP, the exposure of deep family secrets, and overcome pain caused by religion. Get ready to experience the roller coaster of harsh realities with moments of tearjerkers and joyous celebrations. There will be 4 plays that will be presented starting on January 20th at 7 p.m., Saturday, January 21st, 2 p.m., and 7 p.m., and Sunday, January 22nd, 2 p.m. Now, I've been given the opportunity to sit down with some of these cast members and talk to them and pick their brains about what it's like getting into theater. And one thing I can tell you that this has been a diverse group of men and women of all ages, from kids to adults, people with vast experience in theater to even upcoming first-time theater cast members. I highly recommend, if you guys are in the area and you guys want to check out their play. It's very sensational, and it will leave you with direct message, captivating every moment. Love's Not Enough, presented by Elightened Studios, written and directed by Terry Chappell II. I encourage you guys out there, check them out, and I hope you guys enjoy these upcoming interviews that I have on display for you. Be sure to check out all the information and rules of sports at the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Thank you. Alrighty, well, joining us here right at the time is Brian Williams, who plays Dr. Benjamin Banks in the upcoming play Love's Not Enough. Thank you for joining today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
Thank you. That's glad to hear. I'm excited to talk to you about this upcoming play that's being directed by Terry in Elightened Studios this coming up week. Can you kind of explain a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the role that you play in this upcoming play?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Brian Williams, I'm a hospital administrator and realtor here in the greater Cincinnati area. And I am going to be featuring the character of Dr. Benjamin Banks. Let's say I would say probably a ladies' man type of guy, but definitely pretty smooth, pretty personable, jilted and bitter as well. as well. But a lot of come out here on the stage.
So, okay, so just so that Dr. Benjamin is actual, he specializes in cardiovascular, correct?
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
have any? Do you have any fields in the medical field as well, or is that just
Dr. Banks cardiovascular specialty. Specifically, we built this character out to be a cardiovascular surgeon. Funny background story to that: when Terry and I were discussing it, when I was growing up, I wanted to actually be a cardiovascular thoracic surgeon, so a heart who for surgeries. As far as background, I started off when I first went to university in pre-med. I changed that pretty quickly with more business route. And I relocated here to Cincinnati to be a hospital administrator prior to going to state.
Okay. So you have a little bit of pre-existing in the in the character of Benjamin Banks. Now, what kind of inspired you of wanting to become an actor and taking part of this play by Terry?
Well, I'll tell you, and this is a funny thing. I still kind of pinch myself because I don't really see myself as an actor as much as I probably should. One of the conversations we had with our script and line director, Mama is what I call her, who's constantly or acting coach in this space, constantly building.
Alrighty, well, what lovely sign of it posting out. So let's give me a minute, try to get that back on for you guys as well. You guys were listening to the interview of Love's Not Enough actor Brian William. So, like I said, it's poor, I guess, computer connections. I have the video up. It will be the actual interview will be posted. So hold on one second. Let me just get to the right level where we need to get to. Hopefully we can pause that. Come on. There we go. Or strictly to Dr.
No, no, great question. So Dr. Banks actually is specializing in the cardiovascular space, cardiovascular space. specifically, we this character have to be a cardiovascular plastic surgeon. A background story to that when Terry and I were discussing it when I was growing up. I wanted actually to cardiovascular plastic surgeon, so
Okay.
a heart specialist who performs heart surgery.
Right.
As far as when I started off when I first went to university in pre-med, I changed that pretty quickly and went more of the administrative business route. I relocated here to Cincinnati to be a hospital administrator prior to going into real estate.
Okay. So you have a little bit of knowledge already pre-existing in the character of Benjamin Banks. Now, what kind of inspired you of wanting to become an actor and taking part of this playbook?
Well, I'll tell you, and this is the funny thing. I still kind of pinch myself because I don't really see myself as an actor as much as I probably should. One of the conversations we do have with our script and line director quite a bit, Mama D is what I call her, who's constantly, or my acting coach in this
Mhm.
space, constantly building and instilling that confidence within me to see myself as an actor and embody as an actor. But acting, obviously, we do it in a number of different ways. We see it on television, we stream it on different devices all of
Mm.
the time. But having an opportunity to actually see myself in that space and live that out, but then also to see myself within this character and to bring this character to life. I've heard it said before that acting is probably the only profession that, well, one of the few professions probably is the better way to reference that quote, that knows or truly can embody the value of life through screen.
Yeah, I mean, you're on. This is a little different. You're actually guys are performing a play in front of a live audience, right? That is
Sorry,
about
we
that. I don't
we're back.
know. So I'll go ahead and be able to edit this,
Sure.
in the mix. But this is based off of a true story, probably bits and pieces snagged from people's lives, and you actually having to play actual, someone potentially someone's real life. There's a different element, besides, hey, here's a character, and try to not be yourself, but you also have to be yourself in this, right? As a true story. How much how much of this is it difficult for you to was it difficult for you at all going throughout this process to be able to play this character, or was it more easier because knowing the knowledge that you knew heading into it, plus with how real these scenarios are likely, you know it really brings, I feel personally, for me, you really can't hide behind anything like normally sometimes other characters you can hide behind, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm. I think you set it up pretty well here. Amazing about this production is that it is so based off of a real story, and a real story of real people that I know and people that I've grown to love and to become very close to. And the more this story developed and things that I learned and I discovered about many of the true characters and the portrayal of them, I wanted to be sure that I at least did my part to, of course, support that. But I will tell you that was a difficult thing for me in a number of different ways, not just living out the factual elements that arise within the play, but then also, and not to give too much away, how my character develops and intersects in this particular in this particular space as well. One of the things that I would probably say a little bit is that my character does come in a bit as the antagonist to an already challenging and difficult situation, and not really giving the leads or the main focus, those who are portraying some of the harder felt and more difficult parts about this story, space, right? And a bit obnoxious in some ways as well. But that I will say is pretty far from me. So some of my friends that will be in the audience, I'm interested to hear and to get some of their feedback. I gave them some of the background already prior to, of course, the opening night, and they're thinking, "Wow, this is so far from who you are, or at least the way I portray." And I hope that that's true, but I do hope at least I brought the right feel to the moment as well.
I mean, as you're switching your mindset, coming in from being a regular person who has a job, who's now moving into here, trying to fill in this role that, sometimes you do have to bend a little bit in the acting, business. Um, did you ever, how likely was this, was this something, was, just acting wise, right? Because this is going to be over this weekend, 4 plays. You guys have one on Friday night at 7 p.m. You guys double header. I consider a double header. One at 2, one at 7 on Saturday, and then you have one at 2 p.m. on Sunday, all at the Community Arts Center. You know what? That's a lot to rehearse, a lot of mindset. How are you planning on kind of mentally holding yourself together throughout that time period? Because especially Saturday, 2 p.m., you will get done, you'll have a couple hours. I don't know if you guys are going to take individual time or you guys do something as a group, and then go back at it at 7. But it could be really mind straining, especially when you're playing someone different.
Yeah, I think context swapping is probably the better way of me capturing the essence of what will take place. Thankfully, I'm a big meditator. I
Mhm.
start my day off before I do anything else with a good 30-minute meditation before I go and I do my workout and I carry on about my day. But I've already given myself this space and prepared myself because it is, as you stated, it is something very different when you take a moment to step outside of yourself and truly become someone else, and you do it to an extent that you want it to be not just portrayed as believable, but to be felt in that way as well. And I do think, as I referenced a little bit earlier, there are some elements to this, to my character and my portrayal of this particular character that I will have to take a pause and take a beat between the different shows. But I will add though, beyond the portrayal and the lines, the community that we've developed, and I say community in this essence with the cast members, I think that we've provided some amazing support, and I'm always in awe because because honestly, these are real actors.
Yeah.
They've done this for a while. I'm much more of the amateur in this space,
Mhm.
and to be able to connect and then show back up in our own space, just in between is
you know
going to
you
be.
you just got done mentioning the entire cast, and you have a combination of, what you mentioned, amateurs, right? And then you have a combination of actual, actors that are trying to do this beyond, this region. They're trying to make it maybe up and beyond more, become more successful, right, as an actor, actress. um how does that, collaboration among the entire team, because I'm sure, especially with the intensity and the drama and everything that is unfolding in this play, that what makes it so rich and, wanting to watch, wanting to, kind of pulls you back in for some more. How does everyone, the importance of everyone getting along, how did that atmosphere go about throughout getting ready for this play?
Yeah, I think the first thing, it always starts with amazing cast care. I think the leadership, for not just this production but the studio, Enlightened Studios, they've done a really good job at building that natural atmosphere of, again, as I mentioned, or I referenced, a little bit of community. So they've given us great opportunities and points of access in order to build relationships both off stage. And I think if I can be pretty transparent, one of the bigger hurdles for me in the beginning was pushing past that barrier of intimidation. I was one of um, the more amateur actors, I think, on this particular stage and even this particular production, and to fight through my own, I guess I would probably say, imposter syndrome in that space, to learn and to be fed and to be poured into by these amazing actors, and not just actors who performed in local productions, but have gone on and done things regionally, and I would say nationally as well, and who are really striving to push forward and advance their careers within the space. But even outside of the space of our individual characters and how we're coming about to tell this particular story, the friendships and the bonds that we have established, I would say off stage in that way, has been really important.
All right, so you play Dr. Benjamin Banks, the ex-husband, right, to or
Ex-lover.
lover to
Mhm.
Rachel, who's a main cast,
Mhm.
and it takes you up and down a roller coaster. What is one thing that you have, throughout this entire experience that you have taken away and grasped on the most, like maybe like a life lesson or something from playing Dr. Benjamin Banks?
Ooh. Mm. The thing that I'm most reminded of about playing this particular role is, um, well, first, my life my life could have truly gone in Benjamin Banks. One of the things that we've not touched on related to his character is the primary reason why, unfortunately, his relationship with the main character, as you mentioned, Rachel,
Mm,
dissolved, was someone who was career obsessed and career focused and driven, and spent more time focusing on the next position in the perception of the world, and not spending time developing and pouring into that relationship that meant so much to him. And what I've taken away from it is honestly slowing down a bit,
mm.
and appreciating those who are around me. And again, that starts, of course, with those who are on the stage with me, but then also those who have done life with me up to this point. My loved ones, my friends, also, who've been there to support me throughout.
Now, and I'll probably just leave it off with this here. There is obviously something that you could take away as playing a role like Dr. Jim Banks, as you mentioned, slowing down, kind of soaking more in. And, but, I think that when someone comes to watch these plays, especially this Love's Not Enough, this weekend, there is also something that, you're probably eager to give back to the audiences. So, I mean, I guess I'm curious. Do you have any? Are you going into this weekend trying to send a message, and hopefully someone in the audience could take away with something important? And if so, what is that?
I would say that what I'm a part of is bigger than the part that I play.
Mm,
100%. That's our message here. We're a ministry first, right? We're wanting to connect,
mm,
and to show the life of Christ through work that we do, and through and the betrayal,
yeah.
and also the redemption. That even though my character, as I mentioned, may come off as a bit of an antagonist, that
Mhm.
there is still some humility and even humanity to him as well, and that even the most seemingly irredeemable can also be redeemed when they give their life to the worthy Savior.
I'm excited for this play that's coming up. I know you guys are looking for not just to stop here this weekend, hopefully to advance into a future. Um, you know, actually, and I think that's a great role that you're playing. It kind of fits in perfectly. From where you've been to, representing Dr. Benjamin Banks on the actual, on the stage. Is this something that if this, knocks off well, and gets a good reaction, that you may consider pursuing for more of a long-term plan, or yeah.
Yes. I'm not only looking forward to where and all of the opportunities and where this particular role will go, but also where this production company is going as
Yeah.
well. I'm eager to see this, honestly, all over the nation, and honestly global. If the opportunity presents itself to hit the silver screen or network television in some way as well. But yes, I think the director Terry has certainly lit the acting bug in me, and I'm looking forward to to the next opportunity for sure.
One thing that and I'll leave everyone off of on here is that Terry, who's an act, who's portraying an actor in this part as well. He's
Mhm.
taken on so many different roles because he's producing it. And this is a revamp from something that he's already created a few years back. You know, he's such a bright guy. He has such a great he has such a great heart when it comes down for his families, everyone. And if it wasn't, he's given us this opportunity, and I hope that honestly, rocket to the moon and blow up. Just from I haven't seen the play. I'm gonna come out this weekend and support you guys, and but just knowing the information that I'm already knowing, this is something that is beyond something that you could get from your couch. You have to be there watching it live in order to feel everything that that each character is feeling, and that just makes it much bigger than what it actually really is.
Absolutely.
So, Brian, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you coming on here and talking to us about the play. Is there anything else that I forget that we should need to know, or any spoilers, or I gotta ask.
No, no more spoilers. I think I've probably given away far too much about my character already, but please come out and see the show next January 20th through the 22nd at the Fairfield Arts and Cultural Center. We're looking forward to putting on a great show for you all.
And we're looking forward to watching it. Thank you so much. You take care, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you. Take care.
Alrighty. Well, I do apologize about the early technical difficulties. I mean, as I mentioned, I think it's kind of like a morning routine where these where the Wi-Fi just doesn't want to work the way it should work, unfortunately. So I apologize a little longer than normal, but that was Brian Williams. He's going to be playing Dr. Benjamin Banks on the upcoming play that will be played this weekend. Love's Not Enough at the Community Arts Center in Fairfield, Ohio. Tickets are still available. They have a show on Friday night at 7 p.m. They also have a double header show, at one at 2 p.m. and one at 7 on Saturday. And then they wrap things off on Sunday at 7 p.m. So, Terry came to me, wanting to put these, give some sort of platform for not only promoting the play coming up this weekend, but for these guys. I mean, I think doing interviews all around. I mean, and I get it. This isn't about any type of sports, right? But doing these type of interviews, help build myself, help build, the cast members. And, and I was approached by this. I was like, why are you doing this? Is that not, does not benefit you? I'm like, it benefits me. The one thing I've learned is like the amount of knowledge that you can obtain, is unlimited. And it's about the experience, and, especially further getting into this. Will tell you that the experience level of doing these interviews, this is the first time where I did rapid interviews. So I did like 6 interviews on, well, I think I did like 5 to 6 interviews on Friday night. and then back to back to back. So I had like one at 5 o'clock, and then 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then I had like another 4 interviews on Saturday morning. Gosh, sorry. So yeah, I got another one coming up. With how long that was, what I want to do is go ahead and um play that at the top of the hour, and that way I have the back end that I can continue talking to you guys and talking about the upcoming stuff. Like I said, we're coming off of the Dallas Cowboys beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night, 31-14. And man, I tell you, I wouldn't. I don't know if it's necessarily as much of a surprise to see the Cowboys walk away. Obviously, on paper, and well, obviously, you've seen them play throughout the year, and you notice that the Cowboys have been just generally better than the Buccaneers throughout the season. And I think every team has their case on fighting for something. So if you're like if you're the Cowboys, yeah, beating Tom Brady and the Buccaneers is such a huge momentum, because now you got to go in to San Francisco and possibly defeat one of the favorite teams for the Super Bowl in the NFC. So, and then also to see three teams from the NF East advance. And you think about this, coming up in 2 weeks, we could possibly see an NFC East, throwdown between the Cowboys and one of the teams if the Cowboys can prevail. So right now it's down in the NFC to the West versus the East. The Cowboys will be over in San Francisco for the divisional game, and then you have the New York Giants heading over to Philadelphia. And right now I'm favoring the Giants over Philadelphia. I thought a very important win back on Sunday, and the way that the Giants did it, something about Daniel Jones where he feels locked in and set with the Giants. And I could clearly see this could being a future franchise, face of the franchise for the organization. But then you also have the then you head over to Dallas and San Francisco, and I'm like, okay, that's I was rooting for San Francisco. I'm gonna say San Francisco confident. I think that they have all the pieces put together, and they had the combination with George Little, Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and you also have what's his name? I had it in my notes. Debo Samuel. And when you got that 1-3 punch and how dominant they were last week and the great defense that they had were last week, I think the only difference between the Cowboys and the 49ers coming into this game is maybe the quarterback, but Mr. Irrelevant over there, as in shoot, I'm having brain farts this morning. Brock Purdy, man, I tell you, that's gonna be a good battle. The one thing I will say is I don't know if Tom Brady's offense is as good as San Francisco's offense. So that may be another thing that the Dallas Cowboys are going to have to face. But man, we got the NFC matchup, and then don't forget the AFC matchup next weekend. The Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, which I think will be a good testament for Trevor Lawrence. Now he's not going to, Jacksonville's not going to be able to go into Kansas City and pull off a comeback like they did against the Chargers. So, and then you also have the Bengals and Bills, a game that we did not see on week 17. Unfortunately, it's in Buffalo, but I feel personally that game is going to be exciting, but all the wrong ways. As in, Bengals don't have an offensive line, but even Josh Allen's getting sacked back there. So there's a lot of things going on. All right. Our number one is complete. Let's step aside. I'm going to jump to the other interview that I had with Terry and Brittany over there, part of the Elightened Studios, and part of the play that's coming up, Love's Not Enough, and then we'll come back, talk some more sports with you. Don't go nowhere. TNC Sports Talk, the throw in on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel continues next. Stay tuned. What's going on, everyone? Justin here from the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. I want to take this time and promote an upcoming play that is presented by Elightened Studios, written and directed by Terry Chappell. And that's called Love's Not Enough. That will be featuring beginning this Friday at the Fairfield Community Arts Center, 411 Wessel Drive, Fairfield, Ohio, and that is area code 45014. Love's Not Enough is assembled with a cast of seasoned actors who will tell the story about the struggles of three besties, Rachel, Courtney, and Carla, and their spouses. Together, they endure the conflicts of life and its dose of reality. These couples truly believe that love alone will sustain them through the difficult times in their marriage. They slowly learn through their own stubbornness that it will take more than words and feelings to keep their marriage alive. This performance is 100% true, except for the parts that are created for a little sense of humor and drama. Love's Not Enough shines a light on difficult subjects such as the not so shameful topic of male infertility, the struggles of an amputee, the exposure of deep family secrets, and overcoming pain caused by religion. Get ready to experience the roller coaster of harsh realities with moments of tear jerkers and joyous celebrations. There will be four plays that will be presented starting on January 20th at 7 p.m., Saturday, January 21st, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m., and Sunday, January 22nd at 2 p.m. Now, I've been given the opportunity just to sit down with some of these cast members and talk to them and pick their brains about what it's like getting into theater. And one thing I could tell you that this has been a diverse group of all ages, from kids to adults, vast experience in theater to first time theater cast members. I highly recommend in the time you guys want to check out their play is very sensational, and it will leave you with the direct message, captivating every moment. Love's Not Enough, presented by Elightened Studios, written and directed by Terry Chappell II. I encourage you guys to head out there, check them out, and I hope you guys enjoy these upcoming interviews that I have on display for you. Be sure to check out all the information in the worlds of sports at the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Thank you. Alrighty, we are joined by both Brittany Brown and Terry Chappell, who plays Rachel and Brandon. Is it Brandon Williams, correct? In the upcoming play, Love's Not Enough, that will be played out this weekend, January 20th to the 22nd at the Community Arts Center. You have a show on Friday night at 7 p.m. on the 20th. Doubleheader, I would call it, on the one at 2 p.m. and one at 7 p.m. on Saturday, and you'll have another one to wrap up the weekend on Sunday at 2 p.m. Thank you guys for joining me. How you guys are doing this evening?
Oh, great! Thank you for having us.
Terry, I do want to just quickly start off with you. You know, it's an actor director role. You're playing multiple hats. Can you just quickly elaborate and maybe in a quick summary of what this play is about? Love's Not Enough.
So, as we know, I mean, the title speaks for itself. Love is not enough. It takes more than saying "I love you" in order for any relationship to thrive and survive. So, this is actually a revamp from the production that we did back in 2019, which was a phenomenal group of talents. However, this story, it did not change, but it did. So there are some similarities to 2019 version. However, it's totally different from 2019, if that makes sense. I expanded on a lot of the stories, gave a lot of backstory on different characters, and all in all, just again, it takes more to it takes more to a relationship than just saying, hey, I love you. It's
Yeah.
actually a word that requires action. So yeah.
What made you want to revamp this? This was was an original back in 2019, and hopefully,
Well,
there you go.
actually, so what made me want to revamp this was we got a lot of feedback from the audience.
Okay.
I love one thing about me as a writer and director. I love constructive feedback. Anything to help me better myself, anything to help me expand or um, um, help me to stretch, my craft and my skills in the world of writing and directing. So a lot of their feedback after the show in 2019, um, which I say no, there was no bad feedback at all. I take all feedback as something that I can learn from. So
Right.
that's basically where I got it from. And then studying the show, um, and from 2019, and just looking at things like, hey, I could do this better, and I want to change this or I want to add this. So yeah.
All right, so you guys are both of you guys are the main characters. Terry, you play as Brandon. Brittany, you play as Rachel. What's the inspirations of becoming an actress, an actor? What motivated you to want to come out here and be involved into this play, Brittany? The Love's Not Enough.
So I've been acting since the age of 9, and I knew Terry from church. So when I found out he was having auditions in 2019, I was like, oh, yes. And I had anxiety. So I was really scared because I didn't believe I could really do it. And he told me, he said, you can do this. And everybody was so nice. They helped me get through the worst part of my life. And when this play came around again, I said, of course I have to be in it because I feel like 2019 Love's Not Enough basically saved my life. It saved my life, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, and just out of getting a chance to talk to the other cast members and getting to talk to the crew, this seems like one big family through and through. Everyone cares for one another. They help pick each other up. There's also you mentioned something that really caught to my attention. That was you starting at the age of 9. You picking up this up, say claiming that it has saved your life, which is a huge deal. But in this play, you have people from all ages, and you have kids as well. How does those? What type of role do you play, if you play as anything, Brittany, to these younger kids trying to maybe find that motivation or passion growing up, just to get pushed through these little things?
I encouraged them a lot. Um, they know they can talk to me about anything because they remind me of myself. When I was younger, I wanted to be an adult actress, and they have so much heart for acting. They love what they do. And I always remind them, don't give up. It's going to get hard. It's definitely going to get hard acting, but you can't give up because you can make it. And I just encourage them as much as I can because we have to encourage, especially the young actors. We have to.
One thing you guys you mentioned this, and how this kind of helped you with anxiety and overwhelmed. How being an actress and actor is such a strainful job. There's a lot of mentality that you go into. You got to have that right mindset. how do you guys go in each and every day, getting ready for this play coming up, and being able to overcome? What do you guys do? Either it's techniques or support of one another. How do you guys handle that going into overcoming your fears, anxiety, whatever you guys are dealing with?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, so I'll just say this. So this is actually my first. This will be a debut for me, and so I've been behind the scenes. This is my 5th production, but my first production on stage in front of an audience. So not only did I write it, direct it, and produce it, I am also now acting as one of the main characters, Brandon.
Yeah.
And I can say that what helped me so much is the fact that the chemistry is there. Chemistry is key. It's like, a key in the car. Without the car, you can't without the key, you can't start the car. So the fact that so Brittany and I, we've worked together, I think it's been about 5 or 6 years now. And I told her back then, I said, hey, Nikel and I are going to start our own company, and you're coming with us because you are dynamic. Like your work is, your skill, your level is fantastic, and you're coming with us. So she came with us, and just working with her, that actually helped me and encouraged me. So this role that I'm playing, I would actually have to fill in. We actually casted this role 3 or 4 times. We started in June actually, and we had some life happened, I should say, with the cast, and so we had to push the date back because the original date was in October. So actually, explaining to Brittany, some of the different things that was taking place in the production or in the script actually helped me to be able to step right in the scene. And I'm very comfortable. So she has helped me a whole lot in this role. So, yeah.
Well, all right. So we're focusing ourselves around this coming up January 20th through the 22nd. You guys are releasing this play at the Community Center, Art Center, all week long, 4 performances. Can't miss it. There's a lot of things going on. You guys play, Brittany plays Rachel. Terry, you play Brandon. You guys play as a married couple, and on the outside looking into your guys' relationship, you guys have your former ex-lover in the play, Dr. Benjamin Banks. I do want to let you know I got a chance to speak with him, and Dr. Benjamin Banks wishes the worst on you guys. Unfortunately. So he asked me to say that, and I told him, I promised him I will. So but
that sounds like Benjamin Banks.
This is much deeper than just that scratching that surface, and this is what you talked about a few minutes ago. Brittany, can you really maybe dive a little bit more into just the relationship that both Rachel and Brandon have?
So Rachel tries to be the strong person in the relationship. She does not like to see people, like, she doesn't want people to see her break. She has to be strong. She helps everybody. She helps her sister in the play. She helps her friend in the play. And Rachel feels like she has to be the strong one no matter what.
Yep.
So you definitely see Rachel trying to be the strong one, but she does have a breaking point. And her anger comes out because she gets so frustrated and it's so much going on that mentally she can't handle that. So Rachel has a breaking point, but throughout the play, she has to be the strong one because everyone needs something from her. Even Brandon, she has to be strong for him also.
Yeah.
What really gets to me is that this is based off of a true story. And I think everyone who would be who's watching it, or even filling in as one of the members of the cast, can relate somehow through this. This is where I, maybe you guys tell me I'm wrong, but there's a, when you guys come in to rehearse the play, get ready for this to, be released, there's a mentality that you kind of have to switch your mind to. And, you don't want this to, hopefully, none of this carries over into your real life, to reality. But what type of, if any, does it mental challenges to really get behind and get deep into the character, to play the character, to really, give them a realistic look?
Well, I'll say I'm actually playing myself.
Okay.
And Brittany, who is, very close with my wife, she learned a lot of the characteristics of my wife, because the conversation between Brandon and Rachel, those are true conversations. Those are real conversations that was had at one particular time between my wife and I when we were going through, some of our growing pains earlier on in our marriage.
Yeah. Now, this play, there's a lot of things going on, and it's going to be exciting to watch. But, one thing that I would like to, just, know is, what is the overall for you, Brittany, and for you, Terry, both? I would like to just see, what would you like to get away to the audience at the end, after when this is all said and done, and it show you the play ends? What is the message that you hope that the audience receives?
I hope they understand that, you just have to believe. We're going to show all the audience that anything is possible, because we're Christian based. We all believe that, God has the final say. So anything you're going through, don't give up. There's always hope. We hope someone feels touched by that. From 2019, a lot of people were just blessed and felt that they were no longer alone from seeing the play. So we just want somebody to feel that, okay, I'm not alone. Other people go through this and I can make it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just to piggyback off of her. So, as she was saying, so many people were healed in this production, and they were, broken. And after seeing this production, they were like, I can do this. One of the things that I want not only just the audience, but the everyone involved to take away from this production is, no matter what it is that you're going through, you can make it. One of our slogans that we say with Elightened Studios is, you can do it, we can do it, together we can make it. So it's all about, like Brittany said, don't give up, believe. I know, the things that I went through for 16 years of my life. If God can bless me and deliver me from those things, he can do the same for you.
Well, I mean, I'm excited for this upcoming play to watch. I know you guys are looking for not just to stop here this coming up weekend, January 20th, 21st, and 22nd, at the Community Arts Center. Tickets are available. You could head on over to the Community Arts Center website and you could get tickets. I believe it's $30 for the orchestra, right?
Yep.
And then matinee is 25.
25, yeah. And that's Fairfield Community Arts Center on 411 Wessel Drive in Fairfield, Ohio.
So to get your tickets, still tickets available, and they have four. They have the 7 p.m. on Friday. They have the 2 p.m. and a 7 p.m. on Saturday, and then on Sunday they have another 7 p.m. as well. Terry, Brittany, thank you guys for stopping by, joining me,
Absolutely.
talking about the play. Wish you guys both luck, and hopefully we'll see you guys again very soon with another big production.
Absolutely. We have 2 more coming this year, so
I'm
we're
looking
gonna have a
forward
busy
to it.
year this year. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
excited. All right. Thank
All
you
right.
guys.
You're
We'll
welcome.
talk to you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
All righty. Well, as I mentioned, that was Terry and Brittany Brown. Got a chance to talk to them back on over the weekend. Those episodes or those 2 interviews that we played today will be available on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube page. I'm also uploading them to um, Facebook as well. Also, the throw-ins audio shows. So the episode where you could get your episode from excuse me, sorry, where you can get your wherever you download, the throw in and listen to us daily. Just the interview clip alone is going to be right there. So, um, hopefully there's not much of delay in the first one. The problem I had was when I'm going to consider myself an amateur when it comes down to video editing because that's how I am. I was able to do a pre-log prior to the actual inserting the interview in, and that's what I did when I was going through the interview process. And I was just like, all right, the best way I'm going to do this is just to click record, introduce them, and start the interview. And then I could go back, make a special little pre-dialogue content that I could insert before the interview. That when you play this, it kind of, when you play this as an individual, it kind of all makes sense. So that's what I did. And so going through the video editing software, and I guess I'm taking a simple route because, my knowledge is not ideal. So I mean, I'm doing the best I can. It's kind of going to be that way. So what I've done is that I've downloaded every episode, including my pre-dialogue. I went into an video editing software, export that or import that to the software, edit it, re-export that as one clip. Then what I've done is just take the clip alone. Then what I've done is I've gone through, and I don't know if you guys have been on the TNC Sports Talk TikTok page, which has been a while since I posted, and I have good moments and I have bad moments, but I've taken like 3-minute clips and be like, all right, let's post this up on TikTok also to promote the upcoming play, Love's Not Enough. It's presented by Elightened Studios, and they also are, and it's written and directed by Terry Chappell II, who is also involved in the play. He plays the main character, Brandon. And yeah, it's going to be held this weekend, January 20th through the 22nd, at the Fairfield, Ohio Community Arts Center. Tickets are still available. For orchestra, tickets is $30. For matinee and stadium is $25. I'd recommend going. Help support out the local community, check out a fun play, and see what they're all about. So, great experience I've had. More still to come tomorrow. All right, let's step aside. Let's take a break. Let's come back and have some conversations about sports. Cody Rhodes returning to the Royal Rumble. Something I wanted to address that's kind of been bugging me about this year's wrestling in the WWE that's been kind of apparent for the last couple years. So don't go nowhere. Stay tuned. We'll get all that information leading you up until 8 o'clock this morning right here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. We would like to give a big shout out to Epidemic Sounds. Ray of Light by Duckmall is available on epidemicsound.com. Discover your world-class artists, composers, and bands. Find the perfect soundtrack and give your social media accounts the music they deserve. Epidemic Sound is a royalty-free music link For more information, check out epidemicsound.com. 7:30 here on the throw-in, taking you guys up until 8 o'clock in the morning. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have been tuning in, we just displayed a couple of interviews that I've been doing, that I've did a couple that I would been working on over the weekend. These are, I guess you can consider rapid fire interviews for the upcoming promotional play presented by Elightened Studios. Love's Not Enough, written and directed by Terry Chappell II. The play will be held this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, January 20th through the 22nd. 4 performances over 3 days. Love's Not Enough is about the struggles and obstacles, you know, it is within the title of the definition, but the loves and the struggles and the obstacles that couples end up facing, especially in certain circumstances, stuff like infertility, um, amputees, and dramas and secrets and all that stuff. It's very well in depth. It's a revamped version based off of the 2019 play, written and directed by Terry Chappell II. Also, this revamped version just is a little bit more in depth with the characters, and also is not just in depth, but also has more of a drama and humor to it. So we've conducted over the weekend a handful of interviews. I shared a couple of them this morning. I know the first one was with Dr. Benjamin Banks, which was played which is plays one of the cast members. And then we had also Brandon and Rachel, the 2 main cast members of the upcoming play. These interviews will also be available separate on our YouTube page. I'll get the audio up under the throw-ins audio platforms. Also, I know I'm doing TikTok shorts about the interviews as well, and we also are seeing we'll work on trying to get them on Facebook. So I'm working on these. We'll get a couple more interviews tomorrow, and that's how it's gonna be the rest of the week, unfortunately. But I gotta say, I had a blast doing it. It was a new atmosphere for me because, like I mentioned, I had to throw out. I was doing, there was 2 people per interview, and I think it was like 18 people total. So I think it turned out to be like 9 interviews total. Great crew, great cast members. Had a blast. You guys will see that. So I encourage you guys to go and checking them out, giving them the love and support that we receive also. Okay, so kind of refocusing ourselves back down to the world of sports. And some news came out back on yesterday about about Cody Rhodes returning to WrestleMania, or to the Royal Rumble. And first and foremost, when, and I want to say this, when Cody Rhodes officially returns to the Royal Rumble, I just want him to stay healthy, and I want him to stay, when you're one thing I get worried about, an issue, an injury like Cody Rhodes, or anyone who deals with a significant injury that puts them on the shelf for, I'd say those year-based injuries, is that once they're injured, a lot of times they're prone to getting injured, and there's always a problem with that injury. Where they're gonna, within a year they'll probably be injured again. And Cody Rhodes has done a miraculous job of staying healthy. There's not many athletes out there that you could say has stayed healthy throughout tenure of their career. Names guys like Kane, Cody Rhodes. I want to say Goldust was pretty good. Dustin Rhodes was all pretty well. They took care of themselves. Sting was another one Bryan Danielson does a really good job of trying to take care of himself, especially in that ring. So, but we see here today, January 17th, 2023. And, this was kind of the question last year. Now, last year, I'm going to have to take some time to think about this, but I don't remember, other than, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, which we knew since Survivor Series, 2021, that this was going to be a feud that continued into WrestleMania for Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. At that moment, I think that was the only thing that I was aware of. And I know that there was some speculation, but I was thinking about this the other day. All right. Road to WrestleMania is right around the corner. I consider Road to WrestleMania beginning January 1st. Okay. WWE Universe may consider the Road to WrestleMania beginning January 28th at the Royal Rumble. Apologize, messing with my face here. But the reason why is because you have to lead up to the Royal Rumble, and at the end of that night, two people will get a opportunity at the Royal Rumble at a championship match. So for the women's side, they could choose between Raw and they could choose between SmackDown. For the men's side, right now, they could only, their opponent will be Roman Reigns. So coming up at this Royal Rumble, okay, we don't know who is in favored, because they've been, WWE, either they've been really lazy at putting this together so far, or they've been very good at keeping a secret. But at the end of the day, the men's Royal Rumble will conclude, and whoever wins will go on and face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the, I believe it's for the Universal Championship match. But other than that, we don't really have anything else. Now, there's a few speculations, listening back to Cody Rhodes talk about his recovery. He would like to continue the feud with Seth Rollins. I think I would like that. I am probably a little bit more favored to seeing Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins once again at WrestleMania, just because their feud did not really quite finish off the way that I wanted it to. And yes, Seth Rollins left room for more to be told. But I'm also thinking about a few other things in my mind. And I don't want to start confusing you, but I'm also thinking about the reason why Cody Rhodes has come back. Obviously, he has a feud with Seth Rollins to kick things off, which was a tremendous amount of trust, and it was a big deal for Seth Rollins. And then Cody Rhodes ultimately wants that, world championship, the title that Dusty was never able to receive. So when you put that down, is that, do you throw Cody directly to that fire? I know he can handle it. I'm not worried about if he could handle it or if Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes see eye to eye. But see, my direction and my mindset for Roman Reigns down the road is a completely different benefactor. We already know there was a pin in the thought process about this earlier last year, that WWE was thinking about getting rid of Money in the Bank, the pay-per-view, the premium live, and going forth, talking about including it once again into WrestleMania. That's not happening, obviously. So we could take that pin out, throw that away for now. But listen, here's the road to WrestleMania. You got the Rumble on January 28th. Okay. You also have Elimination Chamber on February 18th. And that's it. Okay. 2 pay-per-views. And you expect maybe Roman Reigns to be in all three of them. Now, here's also the other question that you do linger, because there are conversations about Roman Reigns being a part of both night 1 and night 2. We still are unclear about the matches that he may or may not have, whether he would have the title or not. And then that opens up another can of questions, as if Roman Reigns is not to have the title by WrestleMania. Maybe we are looking towards Roman and The Rock at Mania. And I still, for me, a lot of people are saying, I've heard this. I was talking to Dwaylen over there at Armchair Booking yesterday, and we're talking about this, possibility of The Rock and Roman, which you won't know until close to the time, but it's either now or never. They've kind of put this off a little too long, and with how busy Roman, The Rock's schedule is, and you also got to keep in mind Roman's been, been the head of the, face of the company, and kind of been, has not taken a vacation in about 3 years. So he's due for a vacation, time off. And Hollywood is just kind of like the picture perfect moment of Roman Reigns and The Rock. Now, I'm going to stand by this, and I've had other people stand by this. And so when I say that if this match is to happen at WrestleMania, Roman does not need to have that title on himself. All right, this match does not need a title to level it up. Okay, I think just it's both needing to be both. It's two people. It's The Rock needs to come back and needs to, attempt to, shut, Roman Reigns up. Roman Reigns needs to come in, handle business, walks out of WrestleMania. That's said and done. I was talking to Dwaylen Davis about this just a little bit last night, because I was on the Armchair Booking Wrestling podcast. You could check out that interview at Armchair Wrestling Booking Podcast on YouTube and anywhere you get your audio, services. And I was talking to him, and I think there's a couple good liable points. The first question we have to answer is that there has been conversations about Roman Reigns main eventing both night 1 and night 2. Let me address it. Let me stop you right there. Okay. Roman Reigns although, listen, he is the tribal chief, and, he's up to the most, unthinkable services, but he does not need 2 nights. I was very, very, very disappointed in last year's WrestleMania. When you have the Money in the Bank contract winners, my personal belief is that they need to be main eventing or co-main eventing WrestleMania, because they've earned that opportunity at that title shot. So when last year we saw Ronda Rousey win the women's Money in the Royal Rumble match, and then we saw her go face Charlotte at WrestleMania, and it was one of the first matches that took place at WrestleMania. In my opinion, it became an afterthought. You're telling me that, and listen, I get it. Stone Cold Steve Austin and his, epic match return is, phenomenal. But you really thrown away the fact that Ronda Rousey came back. She won the Royal Rumble. She earned a title opportunity. She had this feud with Charlotte, which was going a lot better than I thought it was. And you put them up in the beginning of the card of night 1, and it became an afterthought afterwards. And I think there's other reasons, not just because of that, why it was an afterthought, but that's a different time for different story for a different time. So I don't think that Roman Reigns needs to be main eventing night one. Now, what do you do for night one? I don't know. Okay. I also believe that if The Rock and Roman is to have a WrestleMania match, obviously it's going to be set forth night 2 of WrestleMania main event. All right. I think that's said and done. But I really don't think that Roman needs to be anywhere near those titles around the time. Roman Reigns and the WWE has built Roman Reigns to be the guy who does not, just like he's as big as The Undertaker. And when I say he's as big as The Undertaker, I'm saying that is that, and he's gotten the attention, whether you like him or hate him, to be the most respected person in that, coming out to address the fans. And, just like The Undertaker didn't make his career based off of championships. The Undertaker didn't, there was plenty of times where The Undertaker had storylines involving titles, but he didn't go, his career wasn't surrounded about titles, and it wasn't made because of titles. It was made because of what he was capable of doing inside the ring and outside the ring as a 7-foot monster. All right, 6'10". I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Especially towards the end of the year, his stories was more directed towards storylines instead of, hey, let's capture this title, let's go on for the gold. Roman Reigns is at that level. All right, he doesn't need gold anymore to be pristine or be the face of the company. And we've said this for the past year, being doing this program. Other people have said it. Dwayne Davis has said it several times. Is that these titles need to be, you need to keep on pushing new talent, and a lot of new talent require these titles to help them develop, to help them make a name for themselves. All right. I don't know how well Damian Priest was going to get perceived if he didn't have the United States Championship. Dominic Mysterio has a tag team championship at one time. He's making a name for himself inside the Judgment Day. And so, and let's not forget that Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, they're not getting any younger. Right? They've been in the business well over 15 years now, at least in the WWE. So back to this. WrestleMania is a 2-night event. We could speculate. All right. There are some speculations. For example, speculations of The Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania is one. A speculation of Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes is 2. And then there is a speculation that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn could team up to go after the Usos at WrestleMania, potentially taking maybe the SmackDown or the Raw tag team titles. And all 3 matches I am okay with. Now, something that came out of Raw last night, as we've seen, and obviously it's gonna start developing, is that Omos and Bobby Lashley may have another WrestleMania match. And the way that they going, I didn't like last year's WrestleMania match because the way that they built the match. It was just Omos wanted a WrestleMania match, and Bobby Lashley responded to that, and that was it. This time around, Bobby Lashley, MVP is trying to get Lashley to join the Hurt Business and reunite everyone again. Omos, took care of business last night in his one-on-one match. Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, you're seeing on Raw, who unfortunately lost. And last night in this elimination match, it looked like Omos and The Miz was outside at ringside wanting to observe and assist Bobby Lashley in his victory. And if anything tells is that could probably spoil alert you guys, next Monday night at the on Raw's 30th anniversary, Bobby Lashley will challenge Austin And my assumption is that Omos or MVP could be getting involved. Now, I'm thinking stretch this out, make this a match if the storyline's right. And this was a storyline that we should have saw last year, but we didn't. So now we have to see a repeat. And I don't know, because the match last year at WrestleMania wasn't the greatest. So I don't quite know exactly what type of reaction we're going to get. Now, you know, I like how the WWE is trying to reinvent this match. Okay. I like how the WWE has, is going to, if they try to tell this story, I think it'll turn out better. But I just feel like it's a waste of time. I feel like you're going to have a similar rematch in that hand. So these are all, and then, there's that speculation that we could possibly see Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio finally do battle. So there are some speculations that we could make today based off of what we're seeing heading into WrestleMania. But the first step is the Royal Rumble. And the only thing that I can confirm is that Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, if this is going in the direction I think it's going into, then I'm like, okay. But, I don't think there's a clear direction quite yet. Women's Royal Rumble match. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae. That's the females I have listed just as of right now. For the men's, Kofi Kingston, Ricochet, Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, Austin Theory, Baron Corbin, Santos Escobar, Rey Mysterio. I could see Dominic Mysterio involved into the match as well. Damian Priest, Finn Balor. I'm just throwing out some names. Edge could potentially make a return at the Royal Rumble. Riddle could make another return at the Royal Rumble as well. Randy Orton is another sight that you could see at the Royal Rumble as well. So we have some surprises there. Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt will take on LA Knight at the Royal Rumble. My thing is, though, okay, is going back around to, alliterating my statement, is that the WWE right now doesn't have a clear path of what WrestleMania is going to be. You got to remember, you guys, is that there's 2 nights of WrestleMania. Not one, but 2 nights. All right. They've already sold out tickets and had the biggest, success rate so far. Okay. I'll give credit where credit is due. But to maintain that spotlight, you need to actually deliver. Okay. You performed, you got there, you got people to buy it. Now you got to actually go out there and do it. The last thing I also want to see is, I want to see more stories being developed to where it makes sense at WrestleMania. With all that stuff that we're talking about, Roman Reigns and the potential this, potential that, seeing Cody Rhodes, we first got to appreciate seeing Cody Rhodes make it back if and when he returns. All right, because even though we say the Royal Rumble is his return date, that doesn't mean that until we actually see it happen, we can't say that that's going to actually happen. The only reason why I say that is because injuries, prolong people, sickness, change of plans always happen. I'm not confident. I am not 100% confident that Cody Rhodes returns and wins the Royal Rumble. And if he does, I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm against Roman and Cody at Mania, but you got Seth Rollins who lingers still in the shadows of everything. I would like to see this year's WrestleMania be a one-on-one match between the champion and whoever. Now, and I just don't see it ideally. I don't see an ideal reasoning for Roman Reigns to drop that title unless he drops it to Kevin Owens at Mania, at the Rumble. Sorry, excuse me. Unless Roman drops the title to Owens at the Royal Rumble, and then Seth Rollins could capture it, so then it becomes Cody and Rollins. I could see that. I could see I could honestly see, maybe The Rock coming back, sabotaging. I mean, I don't see The Rock coming into the Rumble match and winning the Rumble match. That for me is out the window. I do see The Rock making an appearance, if he is to make an appearance, during the match or before the match or after the match, whatever. Maybe he just happened to be in town. And then Sami Zayn ends up doing something stupid, costing Roman the match. And, something, I mean, I think that's a little detailed storyline if you guys could keep up with that. But I don't, one thing coming into this Rumble is that you have no idea who could potentially win the Women's Royal Rumble. You have no idea really who's going to win the Men's Royal Rumble and what that storyline is going to go down. And you can only assume that it's going to go down a certain way. Now, I speak off of my perspective, how I envision things, how I think things should work. And maybe it's too simple, maybe it's too cliche, but I'm going to stand by it. If Cody Rhodes, if something like that does not transpire and we see Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, I'm not saying it's going to be a bad match. I just don't know if it's going to be the match of the year. I'm not saying that they're not going to hit it off, but for me, I'm wanting to see Cody and Seth Rollins for the title. Find a way to put it on them. Maybe he starts at the Rumble in 2 weeks. The other thing I also want to, see is The Rock and Roman. If that's going to happen, you need to have that clarity, coming up at the Rumble. Don't wait until last minute. Promote that properly. And just, even if you don't guarantee that match to happen, at least if you're going to tease it right at the Rumble. But if Roman Reigns has that title and Cody doesn't win the Royal Rumble, I'm interested to seeing who is going to prevail and win that Men's Royal Rumble. It has to, if that's the case, then it has to be someone bigger and better than life itself. And there's maybe very, very few selective guys that I have in mind. Bray Wyatt's not one of them. Braun Strowman's not one of them. I'm leaning towards, like I said, Cody Rhodes, even a Braun Breaker. I know we mentioned this last year, but Braun Breaker coming up the roster, because you got 30 slots. You got to fill in some. And Braun deserves to be in the Royal Rumble. So, all righty. We wrapped up a show. Some more interviews tomorrow as well. Let's not forget about that. We also got some sports going on tonight. Cincinnati Cyclones won't play until Friday. The Bearcats, I believe. Bearcats play tomorrow. I'm just checking my list because I have it on a list. So the Bearcats play tomorrow. The Xavier Musketeers, they play tomorrow. So there's Ohio Buckeyes. Kentucky takes on Georgia tonight, 9 p.m. Cincinnati Bengals work on getting ready for the Bills as they head to Buffalo this weekend. And you know what? We are 29 days away from pitchers and catchers reporting. And coming up this Friday, we'll be a month away from the remainder of the team. As much as you could be cheerful, it's like, whatever. More interviews to come. Love's Not Enough, presented by Elightened Studios, written and directed by Terry Chappell II. Community Center, Art Center in Fairfield, Ohio this weekend. Check them out for more information. We will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Throw-In right here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Take care.